You're listening to the Peasinner Network. For more great podcasts, go to peasinner.com.au.
Spoiler alert. I mean, honestly, if you listen to this podcast, spoilers.
Spoilers.
I have a note here that says music that burnt people's ears off, and I can't remember what that's about.
I also have that.
It's,
No,
I've got that.
Yeah, it's he.
Who had that on their bingo card?
Yeah.
People of the universe, please attend carefully. The message which follows is of vital importance to you all. We present to you a case study of one of the most dangerous minds in the universe.
Brilliant.
A history of the lives and times of the renegade Time Lord known as the Master.
The Master. The Master. The Master. Call me Master.
The choice is simple. Join us and continue listening, or face total annihilation.
Listen.
They are the Master, and you will obey them.
You will obey me.
Please attend carefully. Hello and welcome to Please Attend Carefully, the Doctor Who podcast about the most magisterial of malefactors. I'm Ciarán Moffatt.
I'm Amber Patrick.
And each week we bring you a chapter from the lives and times of the renegade Time Lord, known universally as the Master. Today we will be looking at I Am the Master, a 2018 audio story written by Geoffrey Beevers, featuring Geoffrey Beevers as the Decayed Master. Amber, tell us what it's about.
We receive a message from the Master, who is broadcasting from the planet Glox. He has a tale of his latest exploits to share with us.
Amazing. Also joining us this week is...
Geoffrey Beevers. No.
That'd be great. Can we get Geoffrey Beevers instead?
I wish. I want Geoffrey Beevers' voice to tuck me in at night. Sorry, Amber. By the way, I'm Callum Patrick.
Hi, Callum. Those of you who listened to our Quizmaster episode will recognise Callum's voice, although less modulated.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're here, which is honestly quite a surprise because it happened last minute. I don't know. I told Amber we need to be more of a family show, and I think she misunderstood.
No, there's no coming back after the Dr. Falls episode. That ship has sailed.
There were so many ships in that episode, Amber.
Don't worry, audience. I'm also lost at sea right now.
Okay, so I Am the Master is a I don't know how this works with three people, so we're just going to muddle through, okay?
Sure, I'll interrupt.
It's lovely having you here. It really is.
Oh, thank you.
All right, so I Am the Master is one of the short trips, which are short audios that are single character. They're more of an audio book more often than not. But this is really unique because it's basically a fourth wall break telling this amazing story, and Geoffrey Beevers' voice is absolutely brilliant, and he's talking right to you. I remember the first time I heard this, and I was the one who said we needed to do this episode because it is genuinely one of my favourite Master stories ever. And I was walking down the street with just a bunch of Doctor Who in my playlist and just listening. This one came on, and with Geoffrey Beevers talking to me, and I'm walking down Rundle Street, and I'm just like, this is really great, but also uncomfortable.
Feel like I shouldn't be out in public while this is happening to me.
Did you listen to this one on the bus on the way to work, Callum?
I did an initial listen just on the bus commuting to work, and then realised I am going to need to listen to this one again to make some notes later. And by the end of the episode, I realised how bad an idea that might be. Spoilers.
I liked that you sent me this and you were like, yeah, I really want to do this one. Like, please make sure you're wearing headphones and you're not doing anything else while you listen, Amber. Like, really get immersed in this one. It's really beautiful. And I sent you a message. I was like, okay, I'm starting it now. And then I messaged you later, and I was like, I finished, and you're like, what did you think? And I sent you a Simpsons meme of a farmer saying, "Oh no, the chorn," and I realized how undermined you probably felt in that moment.
It's fine. It's honestly, it's fine. No, okay. So it starts with, if we start it from the very beginning, it starts with Nicholas Briggs. Big finish. We love stories, and it starts getting distorted.
I got fooled. I was like, "Oh, is VLC not working? What's going on?" Yeah, only to realize. Oh no!
Yeah.
I see what they're doing.
Yeah.
He's interrupting the broadcast.
It's playing with people of the universe. Please attend carefully.
Yeah, I really liked this because I think it's about the first 6 to 10 minutes of this audio is just kind of like a free-form monologue. Because I had no idea what was going to happen in this audio, apart from the fact I did know that it was just him talking to us first person.
Yeah.
But
I was a little bit worried that was all it was going to be by about 8 minutes in.
So did I, because that was going to make it hard to talk about if that was all we were in for, because there were, so many things to try and remember. But I would have been really impressed if he'd actually managed to pull that off, because that would be a hard write to write a free-form monologue for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But I would have been down for it.
It'd be like Alan Bennett level of like monologuing, right?
Yeah. But then, no, of course, it goes into a bit more of a narrative after that. But it was a really great first 6-10 minutes.
So if we start with those first 10 minutes.
I think somehow that's actually where most of my notes are.
Okay, that's interesting. So it's the Master sort of waxing lyrical about himself, about how he feels. So he starts about, because this is the Decayed Master. It's a master without a body. I double checked, and this actually does take place after Keeper of Traken. So it's after he's already lost the tree mass body. And
it also alludes to the time he made everyone clones of himself. So it's probably even after End of Time.
Well, no, he knows that that's probably going to happen. I think So, because the Decayed Master doesn't then become the Saxon Master. But
that's true. I wasn't sure if this was meant to be ambiguous, like we're right in the future again. And
well, so this story is an interesting placement. So, so when it came out in 2018. It actually came out 2 weeks after Jodie Whittaker had first appeared as the Doctor. So he makes a crack about, the Doctor, she in the future. And yeah, he does make that crack about the, I thought about doing a whole planet of clones, but that's probably going to be done at some point anyway, which is a nice little gag. But I just love him talking about being decayed and wanting bodies. It's almost, it's very gay. It is so. It's just like I see these people with their bodies going past, and I want to ask people, would your body suit me?
You think I would like a piece of that?
Yes, that's a wonderful line.
Yeah, I thought that too. I'm glad both of you thought that, because I was like, no, Amber, stop always thinking that it's gay. But no, good, I'm justified. You both thought it as well.
No, I think Geoffrey Beevers understands the Master quite well.
And he's a very refined Master. And this pops up a lot because in our episode we did on the Jago and Lightfoot story with the Decayed Master, he liked the finer things. But in this, he very much feels like that as well. But he feels very... I love that line and how he sort of makes the Master a horror show. He's like, where you're laying in bed and you see the dressing gown hanging on the back of the door, and you have no idea that I'm the one hanging in it.
You thought that was scary?
Well, no, but
I thought that was hilarious.
But it's imagery, right? He's not actually hanging in the dressing gown. He is the shape that you see in the dark that you think is something normal. And when
the lightning would flash and it maybe would illuminate him for a second.
And that line, and when you go to grab the door handle, you find my hand already on it. That's. I think that's good. I think you've spent too much time making fun of ghost stories.
I would absolutely agree with that. But I cannot get the image out of my head of the Master hiding behind a door in someone's bedroom. He is soon.
Like actually just hanging from the hook.
Of course, it's easy enough to frighten people looking like I do. People might be looking at the dressing gown hanging on the bedroom door in the dark and not realize at first that I'm hanging inside it. They may leap out of bed and find my skeletal hand is on the doorknob before their hand can reach it.
So the Master's really building up, and also Geoffrey Beevers understands his Master and he understands the Master. I love it.
Yeah, and it's great to have an actor who plays the character, writing for the character, and, you know, I guess being given the go-ahead to explore this. You know, Big Finish probably would have, you know, jumped on this when he said he wanted to do it, or they maybe approached him. That would have been, it'd be interesting to know what way around it was, but whatever happened, he did a great job of it.
Is that typical of the Big Finish short trips? Are they all written by the cast?
They're not written by the cast, so they sometimes are. I know there's one I read, one I listened to that was written by Colin Baker and read by Colin Baker. But normally what they are is they are 45-minute short stories. So they so short trips actually started as anthology books, right? Short story anthology books published by BBC Books, which the line was discontinued. Big Finish bought the rights to it, and then they just started doing them as audio.
I might have heard some of those early ones then.
Yeah, probably. I think there are some available easily online. But yeah, they're very short, and they're only ever one narrator, so they're not a drama. They are an audio book.
Yeah.
Which is why this one's so weird.
And because Fraser Hines is another one who's written for Tu and Jamie.
Yeah, and like Matthew Waterhouse has written for Fifth Doctor and Adric and Fourth Doctor and Adric.
Yeah. So that's really cool that they get to explore. You know.
I
I would love to see Beevers do this live on stage. Just him in a chair.
God, yes, please.
Like
I said,
yes,
I
but-
want to see it like Alan Bennett's Talking Heads, right? That's what I want to see.
I think this particular story only works in audio book format for reasons we'll probably be getting into.
Yeah.
You know about earworms, don't you? You listen to something over and over till you can't get it out of your head. Well, if you listen to my story, you may have that sensation. I like the word earworm, don't you? Implies some vile little creature crawling deep into your ear. Can you feel it now?
So I like that he then starts to talk about destroying worlds and the best way to do that and what's his favorite thing. And he starts playing around with the idea that over-industrialization is the best way to destroy a world. And that's that's one route that he'd really like to take. And I think that's very also of the 2018, obviously he would have been writing this before that, but, you know, I think it would have been on his mind as a way of destroying Earth and things like that.
Yeah. I should also point out quickly, and I don't know why you didn't leap on it. I mean, it's not Academy Days, but he talks about his mum and dad, and he specifically calls them mum and dad.
Yeah, I've got that note.
In reference to how parents can really mess up a child.
Yes.
Yeah,
Like
we get
blaming it on his parents.
And he sort of slowly slides into the plan by talking about sort of how language can be used and how you can view things from different perspectives. He does, the goodies kill just as many people as the baddies. It just all depends on, like, it's the old one man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter, right?
I mean, I think the exact quote was, evil always originates in the attempt to eliminate evil in others.
Yes,
which
I
is
do have that quote written down.
surprisingly astute. I wasn't expecting Beevers to go so...
Yeah.
I guess academic?
And he starts talking about how any good thing can be taken to extremes to be a bad thing. He's just like, all men are equal leads to Stalinism.
Yeah.
And like, you know, how the things can be warped and controlled by people in power.
Yeah, it reminded me of that weird reference, but it reminded me of the bit of Fry and Laurie sketch where Stephen Fry does the whole, yes, too much of anything is precisely too much. Too much of anything will kill you because by definition it is too much. Too much happiness will kill you because it's too much. Like, yeah.
Yes, no, I like that. But yeah, I like the idea of like the people who understand the system and who warp it to their own ends.
Was it flatten and twist the message or something like
Yeah,
that?
something like. Hold on, I do have the note on that. I have a note here that says music that burnt people's ears off, and I can't remember what that's about.
I also have that.
Oh,
It's,
no, I've got that.
Yeah, it's he.
Who had that on their bingo card?
Yeah.
And also insufferable, horrible David Attenborough.
Damn.
Callum, there wasn't much in this episode.
No.
It's not like we're going to be like, oh yeah.
I also like, he mentions it just briefly here. I know it's hard trying to keep track because it is one long like monologue, but the bit where he says the thing about time travel is maybe you might want to just go back to an earlier bit. If your plans get foiled, you just go back to an earlier bit and live into it again.
And then he says that he can't do that anymore to his plans because the Doctor goes to the start of his plans and like makes that impossible. So now he has to like sidestep those.
I like that the Doctor is pictured in this. And I think it's a decent view of the Master's view of the Doctor, that the Doctor is basically just a grinning idiot who turns up just to foil the plans. He turns up just casually. It's just like, hello.
Yes.
And the Master's like, God damn it.
Yeah, and he mentions the Doctor so much in this. It's like, calm down.
Yeah, the lady doth protest.
I'm here to tell you a story, so I'll tell you a story about me. I think you'll find it edifying, as I'm quite the most intelligent creature the universe has ever produced. Don't dare to think of any other that may be in your mind. His reputation is altogether overrated.
This is the point where the Master goes to Glocks. Weirdly decides to land in a recording studio and put the TARDIS just as in the recording studio.
Yeah.
As far as things you can disguise a TARDIS as, pretty good.
Yeah, no, like just a sound booth.
Yeah, nice little just, meta addition to this. I can see what he's going for in terms of the setting and making you visualize where he is and bringing you into it, especially if you're listening on headphones.
Yeah, if you look at the not the original cover of this, but the re-release cover with Masterful, because this was re-released in a box set with Masterful. There is actually just like a Time Vortex Nebula thing with like a sound recording booth just out in there.
Is that your dream?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's what my TARDIS looks like.
Do
I
we need
don't.
to stick a bunch of paper plates on the walls of this here recording studio?
Don't tempt me.
Hexagon.
they're in the corner there. Look at that.
I have a hexagon. Yeah,
And on the carpet?
Yeah.
Sharda style. This is a TARDIS.
No. See, I don't want a TARDIS that looks like a recording studio. I want a recording studio that looks like a TARDIS. Okay.
Slight but important difference.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so he lands on Glocks, and like you said, he's just like, you know what? I'm going to like industrially fuck this planet.
Yes, but in the guise of
making it better, because I am going to make things better by making them worse.
It's going to twist the message of green and eco into a disaster.
Yeah. So his first step, he decides to become an academic. We should probably quickly just talk about Glocks. So the planet Glocks is pink.
Yes, very pink.
Infuriatingly happy place to be.
Because
it has 5 sexes, though only 2 are capable of reproducing, but a lot of fun was had by all.
Yes. And he hates that.
Yeah. And so, the destructive power of ideas. I do have that note. Simplify and distort. That is what it is. Simplify and distort. So he decides to become an academic at Glocksford University.
Glocksford, I love that. He was just like, I don't know, Glocksford. That's good.
Okay, here's my question though. Did he come up with the Glocksford University first, or did he come up with Planet Glocks first and realize he had a pun opportunity?
Is that a pun or is that just a reference? Oxford. Oh, okay. Sorry.
It's Glocksford. What?
Wow. How did I not get that? I thought it was just a stupid name for a university.
No, it's clearly Glocksford. Oxford.
I suppose it's because...
Did he go to Oxford? Geoffrey Beevers?
Possibly. But the thing is, I'm one of those people who has enough experience of like English counties that I'm just like, oh yeah, something Ford. Yeah, that's fine. It is Glocks on River.
Glocks upon Avon.
Oh, God. I was not expecting to come out like a total idiot in this episode.
Who has final edit on this one?
Both of us.
Yeah. All right, let's get back. So he's at university and he's investigating the food source.
Oh, now don't skip how he gets into the university.
Oh, sorry, no, go. Please do. How does he get into the university?
Well, he tells the porter a joke and reducing him to fits of helpless laughter.
Well, he was reduced and helpless.
Yes.
That's the joke, yep.
He can write the funnies.
Yeah, he can. I do like the master's sort of impish humor. It's just like, ha, 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 you know exactly what I'm talking about. I killed them all.
He's simultaneously amusing himself and threatening you.
Yeah, right? Which is the sweet spot for the master.
Yeah, having a good time.
I told a little joke to the porter, reduced him to helpless laughter. Well, he was helpless, and I had reduced him.
So he gets a position at the university after killing like a porter and also the arch-chancellor and...
He shrinks the dean and puts him in what kind of bin?
Sorry, are we doing were you attending carefully?
No, but okay, I'll save that then.
No, hold on. Like
No.
Okay. I don't know, pedal bin?
No, it's a recycle bin to go along with the whole green eco theme he's got going on.
Of course it was.
Where we need to go on the green bin.
Yeah, surely he's compostable.
I don't know if the university dean has a compost bin in his office, but if he does, this planet's already on the downslide.
Who has a, like...
I mean, I've got one in my office, so...
Yeah, but your office is also a kitchen and a bathroom and...
No.
No? Oh. Okay.
She's gone up in the world.
Is your office in a university?
Yes.
Oh. Anyway...
Amber, please tell us about Grumpads and Ciarán.
So he's thinking about how he's going to destroy this planet, and he decides that he's going to destroy it like agriculturally.
Yep.
And so basically he gets the Ciarán, which is it's just corn, but Ciarán.
It's like yeah, it's wheat or corn. It's like golden grass thing. Yeah.
And he basically gets them to like go all in on growing it so that they can then feed it to these creatures called Grumpads.
Fuck.
The thing about the Ciarán...
What?
Sorry, I don't know how clean we need to be here. But I'm just reacting to Gromp. I hate the word Grompad. It's
all right.
Look, I'm sorry. Beevers, you know how to write the master. You do not know how to come up with sci-fi names.
Do you know you're out with the word Ciarán?
Not really.
I mean,
but Grompad pushes me over the ledge.
Didn't you come up to me and go, "What are vicious canids from?"
The vicious canids.
No, like we know, but it was
okay.
like after he listened to this, he was like, "Who?" It's that level of.
Yeah, it's sort of Roald Dahl, Dr. Zeus style making up words.
I didn't mind the simplicity of it because I wasn't sure if we were going to get a reveal that it was Earth eventually, and he just changed a few words just to make it a.
It's not though.
No,
it's not.
So what he actually does, and which I really like, because he baits and switches them. He's just like, Ciarán is our number one, thing to eat. So what we need to do is we need to make it stronger. We need to make it better. And what he does is he engineers it so that it wipes out all other plant life. So like all of the other trees, the whole ecosystem gets fucked so that they can grow Ciarán.
Yeah.
To then feed the Grumpads.
And then we can eat the Grumpads, so...
And also it's probably fine because the Gloxian Empire spans several planets, so they can kind of devote one to agriculture.
I then love that basically the Grumpads have wings, like little wings. They can hover above the ground because there's like reduced gravity on this planet.
Yeah.
So they're fine. But like they farm them so much that they get so big and like heavy that they can no longer fly because they're just, genetically sort of overfed. And it kind of makes me think of like, KFC, like the size of like chicken and stuff that you get. Like,
and they keep the Grumpads in like closed barns, like these, chickens pecking each other to death.
Technically, they're free range because there is a door they could leave through. It's just on the other side of the barn, and they have no knowledge of the door's existence.
Yeah, basically.
Sorry, that's pretty bleak. But
So yeah, until he does all this work of making the Grompads bigger, and then making all of the Ciarán better to wipe out all the other plants, and then he decides he's been at the university for 100 years or so, and people are starting to ask questions.
Yes.
So he goes into agribusiness.
Yes.
Where he can force like factory farm the Grompads and the Ciarán. So now all people are eating is Ciarán and Grompads.
I think, is that where he then comes up with the idea to, let's put the Grompads underground, and that gives us more surface area for Ciarán.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
yeah, that's a business decision.
And I love that. I love the fickle nature of like the business sector that he goes into, because I mean, given by today's standards, you could see a lot of business people being like, "Sure, all in, let's do it, let's."
Absolutely.
It is worryingly relatable.
Yeah.
And then it gets to the point, like he does all this, and then like he does this for a few years. He makes a lot of money. He makes the Grompad like huge growth and everything. And I love he says at this point, then I would probably introduce some sort of virus into the population that would kill off the Grompads and the Ciarán. He's like, that's what I would have done.
And it was working on it too.
Yeah, he was working on it. But it happened anyway. He's just like, well.
I was almost too busy listening to it than taking too many notes.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because I didn't want us to get stuck in that what we normally do of just go beat by beat on the story. So
Yeah.
I didn't take too many narrative notes. But I do remember, he decides then to leave agribusiness and go into politics. Because
Of course.
now he can manipulate the politicians and their policies surrounding this crisis and lead them further down his path.
Yep, exactly. And he basically he manipulates his way into the vice presidentship over like
Yeah, because and then they want to do a record where the president will go in the recording studio and announce their plan to the masses.
Well, I think it's because things have become so dire at this point that the president needs to make an announcement.
Yeah.
right?
But
they
he's
need to be
sitting in the-
pulled out of
Yeah.
this situation.
And while they're sitting in the green room before the announcement, he decides to enact the next part of his plan.
Where
he's been working on like aerosols, because that's how he does stuff earlier with the Ciarán to make it to make it grow. They developed these aerosols, and so he's like, well, I knew about aerosol technology, so I decided to use my aerosol on the president.
Yeah, sleep. The president sleeps, and he's just like, it's disgusting, right? Have a tick. And it's like those ticks that it infest fish that eat the tongue, and then it's gross. So it eats the president's tongue, and the president wakes up and he's just like, bruh?
Yeah, he can't speak, and so he points to the master to be like, he needs to do the speech. Well, that's what the master tells people.
That must be what he's doing.
Doing it. Oh, he's pointing at me. That means he wants me to do the speech, not that I'm the one who's done this to him.
And suddenly we're in an Abbott and Costello sketch.
The president's speech was going to be all, we must stick together, we must do this, and we will do everything to help you. And the master's just like, right, keep the course, stay,
More Ciarán, more Grompads.
Yeah.
Oh, he says, no, we need to go to war.
Oh, that's
We've
right,
got to take resources from other planets so that we can survive. So you're all enlisted.
Yes. And it is a really good, the plan, the flow plan is just like, okay, yep, cool. And this is happening over a couple of 100 years, and he's just casually just going through it. But yeah, no, they're going to war.
As most master plans are, right? He spends a lot of time on most of his plans, very carefully plotting them all out. And wouldn't it just be a shame if right at the very last moment, the doctor were to appear? Well,
Oh my God, the master's autistic. He's just very slowly lining up all of his toys.
Domino, yes.
And then the doctor goes, hey, what are you doing? Slap.
Which ironically is what the master says he likes doing to other people. Earlier in the episode, he says it's fun watching a group of children build a tower out of bricks, which I don't think is a thing anyone has ever done. But it's much more fun to come and knock it all down.
yes, that's right. And make them all cry.
So he should know how that feels.
Either
right?
that or he doesn't know how to play Jenga.
Does he think a game of Jenga is a legitimate attempt to build a tower? He might.
Is another sketch for our sketch show that we've never made. It's the Doctor and the Master playing Jenga, and he makes it fall every time. I win. No, that's not. You're not meant to make it fall. What? Why not?
He also says that the president is speechless with admiration for him. Love
So
it.
petty.
Yeah.
So smug and proud of himself throughout this.
He is.
And it gets to the point where, yeah, they're at war. Like, Glocks are at war, and there's hardly, like, basically the Grompads are almost extinct, and the Ciarán has got diseases and is totally useless. And the Master goes back to the recording studio to do another thing. And it's at this point that the Master sort of unveils that while he's been talking to you, like he's been talking to you, the listener, this whole time, and there have been odd things happening in the background in the audio. And
oh yeah, the concept of the earworm.
yes.
I guess we can talk about that after. So
Well, this is what he says. Like, the concept of the earworm is that it's like he's using it to take over your body. Like, this is him trying to take over your body. And
yeah, you hear these little musical. Well, they're not musical, but yeah, sound effect cues in the headphones.
and if you listen very carefully, you can hear in the background, it's like, I am the master.
Yeah.
You will obey me. A new body.
And does it get stronger over the course of the entire audio? It's more noticeable by the end.
Yes,
Yeah.
it does. It's beautifully put together. It really, like, it's amazingly written and beautifully executed. So just like, I'll be back in a minute. Well, I'll be in your body in a moment. And he steps out of the recording studio and he finds
The Doctor doing the dang crossword.
That's right.
the Doctor's just sitting there in the green room, just like, hello.
Yeah, doing a cryptic crossword that had been mentioned earlier, and it's the fourth Doctor.
Yeah, of course it is. And just the casually just hello, and
And he comes running back inside the sound booth.
because you hear him like go outside and you hear like a thump and
Yeah.
and he like runs back inside, slams the door, and he's just like, the Doctor was there. How does he find me?
Well, I mean, at this point, he's been the ruler of the Gloxian Empire for several centuries.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be hard.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. And by the time the Doctor's found him, there's hardly anyone left on Glocks.
Yeah.
Like, anyone who could has gone out far off in the Empire, which all of those planets are collapsing as well. The Master has basically destroyed an entire civilization.
Yeah, I love, again, it's by no real fault of his own, apart from maybe going out to wage war, and that kind of just increases the noticeability of it all. But the Doctor has just shown up. Like,
Yeah.
and we don't find out if the Doctor knew that this was happening, if it's a coincidence.
Is it like, can the Doctor, like, should the Master be blaming the Doctor, or should the Master be blaming the Doctor's TARDIS that always drops him
Yeah.
somewhere where he and
That's
like
a good point.
if it always the like maybe every so often the TARDIS is just like, oh, I should probably check what he's up to. Oh God, I better drop him off.
Or the TARDIS saw the presidential speech, like picked up the communication of the speech, and it's clear the Master giving being the vice president
Yeah.
of a place.
And he just doesn't have the self-awareness to think that he should be blaming himself.
Yes. I want to know, this has just hit my brain. I want to know, how often do you think the Doctor lands and assumes it's the Master when it isn't? Like, he spends the entire story going, this has to be the Master.
I think there's a few times, I think it was recently in Metamorphosis even, where they land and they're like, what could be doing this, Doctor? And he goes, I have a few ideas. And I think he says that a few times, and I think that means that it's the Master or something else.
Yes. It's like, every
Don't
time
worry, audience. It's something you're familiar with, wink.
every time he gets out, he's just like, okay, is this the Master? Okay, what about the monk? The Rani? The Daleks? Is it the Cybermen? I don't know. Is it the Sea Devils? Like,
Yeah.
he's just like,
If I was a Doctor, I'd have like a little laminated checklist for companions with pictures and things, and be like, here is a list. memorize it, and if you're ever in trouble,
Like, Unit has to have that, right?
Yeah.
Unit absolutely. Like, because if you see the shots of the Black Archive, and there's photos of every single companion the Doctor's ever had.
yeah,
And it's just like, okay, anytime anyone sees any of these people, we must. It's like, if anyone ever sees a blue box, you have to call in. And they even make that joke in one of the episodes. It's just like, oh, was it that King's Cross debacle? Because that's the one place in England where they've still got a police box.
yes,
Oh.
Yeah, British people don't come at me. I don't know if that's exactly where it is, but that's there is one left, and it's hilarious because it's got like a CCTV camera on top with the light on top of that. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So the Doctor's there, and the Master's like, "Damn, I don't quite have enough time to steal your body, but I am going to use the connection that I've made with your brain."
yes, and
To
he,
make you look like my body.
yeah,
Well, it's a
because
sort
he
of
says he asks you to look in the mirror, and it's your reflection is his reflection. But also he establishes that the Doctor doesn't know this is a TARDIS.
yes. He's walked into a soundproof booth, which is his TARDIS.
Yeah,
Frankly, Doctor, if you see the Master walk through a door, get suspicious.
Why don't you choose a moment when you're ruling a star system? Forget the future, just enjoy the really nasty things you're doing, and then, as soon as it even starts to go wrong, pop into your TARDIS and start the good bit again. Like choosing the best bits in one of your downloads and running them over and over again.
All right, back on track, guys. We're
So
wandering.
the Master skips out, and he's like basically made it so that if the Doctor tries to follow him, the Doctor will find you.
yeah,
And then he says, "You can go back," and but he says only one of you. It's one of those things. It's like the old.
Winning the reverse lottery.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. What makes me think of this is a John Finnemore sketch where he says, "I shall end on a magic trick. Pick a card. Ah, the Queen of Hearts. Very good choice. Now, for the 51 out of every 52 of you who thought that was naff, imagine what the other one person thought." And that's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
Like, the Master has taken over someone's body, but then he says, "Oh, you can go back." My favorite line, rewinding or going back to a different point in this audio, is like time travel. He's like, "You can go back, and maybe next time it'll be you that gets taken over."
And that's the point in the episode where I went, oh no, I need to listen to this again to make notes.
and then didn't something happen with you had an interesting experience when you finished listening to this audio.
Oh yeah, that's right. In the playlist I'd set up, it had it in two versions, one like the full 45-minute block, and then each chapter of the story. So it just started auto-playing the episode again from the very beginning. I was like, oh no, it's happening already.
Oh,
And he escapes. He
Yeah.
flies off in his TARDIS, and
I think this story there are a lot of Doctor Who stories, the whole willing suspension of disbelief, it just doesn't quite work. This one, it does. It works. Like, it works perfectly, and I think that's why I wanted to do it. This is also where I get the tagline for the show, and people have said to me, it's just like, I don't know what that is. But from this audio,
Yeah.
this whole concept of you might be like the listening to the Master is taking over your body. But he says that line, "It can't hurt you to listen, can it?" Which I have absolutely stolen and used as the tagline for the
Yeah.
show. Yeah.
Huh. I just figured that was some old Delgado thing. But
No, it's from this.
Sneaky.
This is genuinely probably my favorite Master story.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it is. Just because it's so well put together.
I love the total opposite end of the spectrum we have that we agreed. We'll pick one episode that we really want to do each.
Yeah.
And you picked this, and I picked the Time Monster.
Can I come back for that one too?
We did that last week.
We already done it. Yeah,
Aw.
sorry.
I won't go back to the beginning of this adventure, but you could, if you like. It's only a form of time travel. You will listen again. For I am the Master, and you will obey me.
Okay. Ciarán, Callum, were you attending carefully?
Yes.
Can I answer the questions before he answers the questions because he's going to get them right?
Oh,
Sure.
Okay, I think that's fair.
I think you're also helping one another. I assume this is going to be a 5 for 5. Okay. What is the problem with power?
Uh-oh.
It corrupts. No, the problem with power is
Huh.
no idea.
No, I got nothing.
Oh, very apt for this episode. It decays.
It's fleeting.
It decays. Oh,
Oh.
for fuck's sake.
The Decayed Master. It decays.
Yeah, no, I got that. Funnily enough.
You'll get this one. It's a two-parter. What human does he call insufferable, and what planet does he believe that human would like?
It's David Attenborough, and he would like Glocks.
Yes.
Yes. On with the questions.
Right. What does the master have for lunch in the green room?
Oh,
I mean, he devoured a cryptic crossword.
it's a nice salad, right? It's a Ciarán and Grumpad.
Yes, but what
yeah.
kind?
Is it grilled Ciarán and wilted? No, hang on. Wilted Ciarán and grilled Grompad?
No.
Dang.
It's an incredible pun. It's Ciarán flakes.
Ciarán flakes.
It's Ciarán flakes with Grompad strips. But I know that we've said before about t-shirts, but I kind of either want a t-shirt that's got Ciarán flakes on it, or just the farmer saying, "Oh no, the Ciarán." It really got me. I don't know why. Anyway,
Because it's a ridiculous
yeah,
word.
Ciarán flakes is incredible.
Yeah, again, has he reverse engineered Ciarán because he came up with Ciarán flakes first?
No, I think he just Ciarán flakes, and he was just looking at a box of corn flakes in his house and was like, "Oh, Ciarán flakes."
He's just looking around the studio. That's where this whole episode came from. He's sitting down in his studio at a writing desk. Master is in a...
I would like to point out that he is also a successful novelist.
I think it's intentionally bare for the simplicity.
Yeah.
I don't think he wanted to overcomplicate 45 minutes.
Sure, okay. So he's not going to use the Stephen King method of, so this writer goes to a hotel.
In Maine.
All right. What careers does the master mention having?
Oh, yeah.
There's 5.
Oh. I've got 7.5.
Oh, okay, well.
Ciarán, go for it first.
He was an academic.
Yep.
Yeah. He was vice president.
Mhm.
He was a manager. He was a leader of agribusiness.
Yes.
He was a researcher. No.
Good point. Are we talking specific jobs or careers?
I guess careers. So Glock's
Okay.
university professor is all that research he did at the university.
Yeah.
He's also the dean of the university at the end, or he's the arch chancellor of the university at the end, or something.
I probably should have said careers, but
Yeah.
Okay, so
we've got-
so academic, agribusinessman, and politician.
the place to be if you really want to ruin things.
Oh, he's also a voice actor or something. Like he records things earlier on. Like he starts out recording things before he goes to university or something, doesn't he? I may be wrong.
No, I think he just hides in the recording studio.
Go on.
But earlier in the episode, before the actual story begins, he mentions being a master chef.
yep, and he poisons
he-
everyone.
Yes. And he gives a master class in music, which is the quote you were thinking of, where the music burned people's ears off.
Right, there we go.
Do you also count becoming the vice president and also the ruler of the Gloxian Empire?
Oh, I counted those as all the politicians.
Politicians, yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
He flattened Rome. I know that much.
Yes.
In one day.
Yeah.
Okay. You'll both hate me for this one, but I've got a point for bringing it up. How many times does the master mention the doctor?
7.
As in, says the word doctor, or instances where the doctor is...
Counting the final encounter as one instance of the Doctor.
Okay. Oh, okay. So he mentions how the Doctor always comes along and ruins things at the start, when he returns to the start of each of his schemes. He says that...
4. I'm just going to say numbers.
The anticipation is better than the payoff, except for when it's anticipation for the Doctor.
Oh, yeah.
The Doctor obviously appears at the end, and I feel like I've got a fourth one floating around in my head. I don't know when it would
Well,
have
it's
been.
not
though.
4 because I already said 4.
Mm-hmm.
3?
Maybe it's just 3.
5.
Yes. Yep.
The scattershot approach.
I love that because this is 45 minutes, so we're averaging a mention of the Doctor per 8 minutes, which...
is about the length of each chapter of the story.
Yeah, I just love, like, you can't stop bringing him up, even in a completely dedicated to himself story. You gotta bring him up.
Yeah.
Sorry, that one was annoying, I knew it would be.
That's fine. No, I'm...
That's fine.
Can you believe this? I went into the green room only to find the Doctor sitting there, cool as one of your cucumbers, that wretched scarf everywhere, holding forth to a bunch of admirers, while at the same time finishing the Gloxian Times cryptic. Show off.
What did we learn?
What did we learn? We learned that the Master talks about the Doctor roughly once every 8 minutes.
And talks about David Attenborough once every 20.
I like this Master. Okay, so I like this Master because it's back to old school Master, right? This is Master approaching things with scientific method. He's like, I'm going to see if I can do this, and then does it. It's beautiful. And I love how cool and calm he is at all times until the Doctor shows up.
Yeah.
And he like slams the door.
Yeah, all the eloquence goes out of the plan when the Doctor turns up to ruin it. He gets frustrated. We've seen that from other, adventures where everything can be going smoothly, but then the second there's any hint of it failing, he self-destructs.
Yeah.
And
it's like suddenly it's like the Doctor has suddenly come over and started looking over his shoulder at what he's doing, and he starts getting flustered.
Starts making a bunch of typos.
Yeah.
He can plan, but he can't improv.
But I guess this is also like we're doing what did we learn? What do we learn still? He felled Rome. He has a mum and a dad in Gallifrey.
Yeah, well.
But,
Oh, so he wasn't born from a loom.
Don't you dare bring those things up.
He thinks that to travel is better than to arrive. He likes to hide in dressing gowns.
That's a metaphor. God.
He likes doing cryptic crosswords.
yes. There you go. Have that one, fanfic writers.
But I think we've learned quite a lot about the Master in this, and it is the only time where we get the Master telling his own story. And I think that's a valuable insight.
Or
Yes.
at least one that appears to be 100% true. Like, he's got no reason to lie to us. Or he's just trying to keep us on the hook until the earworm does its job.
But it's the same thing, right? It is the only thing where he is telling us the story. We're seeing things, but the thing is, it doesn't matter if he's telling us wrong or not. It's still it's a unique perspective
Yes.
on the Master.
I would say that Missy Borderline's narration of the... what one was it? Was it the noir one?
Oh, yeah,
police
that
one?
one. Yeah.
Which is, I don't like that one. But this I think is first. But I think this is a more very dedicated. That's what this is. Missy breaking the fourth wall isn't exactly the same as what this is.
It was a product of its own genre rather than this being set out to be.
Yes.
I will say that what that they specifically made this because they said, we want a Master story. We know that Geoffrey Beevers can write.
Oh, yeah.
We want Geoffrey Beevers to write us a story. So they took him and said, we want you to write a story about the Master's from the Master's own point of view.
Yeah,
And he delivered.
absolutely. I think this is the Master you would get to do that. It's the most in character for this
I don't know.
Master.
I'd love to hear Derek Jacobi do something, but
Derek Jacobi, his Master's plans are to... He's not even involved in most of his plans, though. He just drops seeds all around and lets those things come to fruition without his involvement. Like, he manipulates others. So remember, like, the Sueño stuff, like, he's not even there.
yeah, no, that's
like,
true.
for that. So he couldn't narrate it necessarily because he doesn't do it. He keeps his hands clean, so to speak, and then just strolls along at the end to pick up his prize.
He's the one to, like, hack the bus's GPS route, whereas Geoffrey Beevers will poison the bus driver and take control.
As an image.
Both of them, don't get me wrong, are driving this bus off a cliff.
On the buses featuring the Master.
I do have one fun little quiz. You feel free to cut
No,
this.
new people. I think that,
'Cause the
go
one-
on then.
Feel free to cut it.
I
But
think
the
they can
one
change the
thing-
format.
Well, I was going to sneak this into the please attend carefully section, but it's not quite about the Master. It's about Geoffrey Beevers' writing style.
Mm-hmm.
Go on then.
And the one thing I had that did break me out of the story, that I don't think he was totally successful at, was making up sci-fi names. As we've discussed,
Yeah.
Grompads and Chawns are not the best.
I
Every
think-
time I heard that, I was like,
I think
"Oh,
Amber's
no."
making the I think Amber makes a very valid point that the choices that he made are to make it like not Earth, but it's Earth, right? Like it's like, and what he's saying in this story as a wonderful bit of social commentary is to, it's like everything the Master's doing on Glocks, people are doing on Earth, like right now.
Yeah,
this
yeah.
shit is happening right now.
But I
That's
guess,
the strength of sci-fi stories.
is this quiz going to be, you're going to give us words and we have to say what
Yeah.
they were?
Okay.
Right.
Which of these words did Geoffrey Beevers make up? And which of these words did Dr. Zeus make up?
I would also like to point out, because this is an audio medium, that's not how you pronounce his name.
Oh gosh,
His name-
is going to get started now.
No, his name
Zeus or Beevers?
is Dr. Zeus.
Zeus.
Yes, he's Swiss.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'll
Yeah.
take that again. Which of these...
You don't need to take it again. We just did the whole explanation. Because if I don't have the explanation there, you're going to say Dr. Zeus, and people are going to be like, who's that?
Yeah, fair point. All right. Obviously, we've got Glocks, Grompads, and Chawn we've taken already, right? We know that Geoffrey Beevers has written those. But who wrote Baldy Grood?
Zeus.
Amber?
I don't know. Should we each give an answer, or
I don't know.
otherwise we'll both answer opposite each other the whole.
Yeah, it's
If
like
you
being
want.
done.
I'm going to go in with Ciarán's discretion. Decision.
No, that's from the Battle of Baldy Grood, which this master helped initiate.
Okay. Sure.
Lurkim?
Isn't that what you...
Are this going to be their all beavers, and the Zeus thing is to throw us off?
Yeah.
I was tempted, I really was. But
Okay,
no,
so no.
some of these are legitimately Zeus.
This one then.
Yeah, is this one?
Yeah, Lurkim's the shack from the Lorax. Droshamon 5.
That is Beevers, yeah.
Yes. Trees of Nonabel.
Oh, that one is Beevers, yeah.
Yeah.
Jogoons?
Zeus.
Correct.
Yeah. Too close to Jadoons.
Yeah.
I'll give you one final one. Crinoids.
I think you mean crinoids, and that's not a word that Geoffrey Beevers wrote.
Right. That's another Doctor
That's a Doctor Who monster that appeared long before.
Yeah, trick questions, neither.
I feel like you're covering that up, but that's fine.
Paper. Crinoids actually canon.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I know they are.
From the Seeds of Doom?
Yes, Doom. Doom, not death.
Yeah.
Also, there's a really fun 8th Doctor story that has the crinoids in it as well. It's got Nigel Planer as well. Yeah.
For bonus question, what does the Master think of the Crinoids?
They're better conversationalists than the plants on Glocks.
Than any other plant.
Yeah, I had that as a potential question for the quiz too. So
Yeah, I
had
wrote that
one
down on my
written
phone.
Down, sorry.
All right, that's the end of that one.
Okay.
I wasn't counting.
My chemical and biological sprays were a huge success, and before long Ciarán was spreading and taking over the whole countryside. Almost all other species died. The multicoloured flowers died, and then all the bees and insects, and eventually even the great trees of Nonabel, until only the Ciarán survived. The Ciarán should have been grateful, but aside from the crinoids, I've yet to have a decent conversation with a plant.
How effective was the plan?
How effective was the plan? The plan was it was executed perfectly.
Yeah.
Like the master, and he started like he did it very methodically. He started with academia and sowed the seeds both physically and also metaphorically. Some seeds of okay,
Yeah.
you get what I'm saying.
Yep.
So, yep.
Yeah. He had an out. He always usually has an out.
Yes.
So this was to make us him
Exit stage left.
and, distract the Doctor with the double of himself while he escapes. So
Can I disagree and say this
Okay.
plan was not very effective at all? Because I don't think the plan was to, in fact, rule the Gloxian Empire for several centuries, although he did manage that. That might all have just been a lie, because his actual plan was to put an earworm in the actual listener's head in order to take over their body. And that plan, at the end of the day, was a failure.
but he gets away from the Doctor.
I mean, it's so
He always
what you're
does.
talking
But
about
is
here is that he had a contingency plan, and which worked. The contingency plan worked.
He's always got contingency plans, but his ultimate goal was to get a new body, right? A
I think he was
delicious new body.
I think he was I think he was. I think he. People can do two things at once.
Yeah. Steal someone's body and make up a story.
So he doesn't get our body because he has to use it to distract
Yeah.
the Doctor with, which is, I guess, how the Doctor foils him. But he gets away, I think, I guess this is new territory because I haven't done how effective is the plan before.
Yeah.
I think relative to his other plans, it's probably as effective. Sure, maybe the ultimate goal of not getting his body wasn't achieved, but it's kind of like equal at the end because he gets away so he can do something else. But in the meantime, he did destroy an entire empire.
Allegedly. We only have his own words on that. Maybe I have been reading too many ghost stories.
I mean,
Just coming here with your skeptic brain.
yeah, like I don't think any media is going to work if you're going to assume that everyone is an unreliable narrator.
No, I assume the Master is an unreliable narrator, and I don't think that's an unreasonable assumption.
Is the Master an unreliable narrator?
I have no reason to doubt him because we know that he's capable of these things. Like, we know that the only thing that is better than the Master is the Doctor. So when the Doctor is not around, the Master always wins. Like, yeah. Like, in the world of trump cards...
Yeah, it's a weak lie, if it's a lie.
It's
Yeah.
just meant to be a rambly one to give the earworm time to get into your head.
Yeah, like, I get that, but I think...
That's why the first 8 minutes or so is him talking about himself, where he realizes, the earworm's not going fast enough. I'm going to have to come up with something else here. All right, let me tell you about this story where I was an academic, and then I was in corporate, and then I was a politician, and then I was the vice president. And
I
then
think you like Occam's razor here. I think you're basing this on an assumption. I think you have made an assumption and you are acting on bias.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't normally get into this much of a debate about it.
Yeah, no, exactly.
It's an unfortunate story to start the new segment with, I guess. Or an unfortunate guest.
I think that the plan worked. And as usual, like the bits that didn't work only didn't work because of the Doctor.
Yeah, which I think is a typical outing. Therefore, it's as successful as any other.
Yeah. It's not like,
Adventure.
say, for example, the Time Monster, where, like, that I don't think the Master failed in that because of the Doctor. He failed because he underestimated Kronos.
Yeah.
So that is the Master failing. I feel like the Doctor stopping the Master is a no-score draw.
Yeah.
All right, call it a draw.
As soon as the Doctor turns up, unless I've got a really good chance of killing him, I do my best to escape and go back to the beginning of that bit. But the Doctor's got wise to this and generally chases me back to the beginning of the bit that I like and spoils it for me, so I have to move sideways to a different galaxy and start again from scratch.
That's all for this episode of Please Attend Carefully. Thank you so much for listening. We hope that with each new installment you come to understand, appreciate, and maybe even obey the Master. Don't forget to follow or subscribe to be updated on new episodes. We'd also love to hear from you. Amber, how can listeners get in contact with us?
They can email us, pleaseattendcarefully@gmail.com. Send us an ask on Tumblr, Please Attend Carefully, or follow us on Instagram @pleaseattendcarefully.
That's right. I've been Ciarán.
I've been Amber.
And I've been Callum from Second Hand Haunting. Come follow us there if you want more of my skepticism.
Until next time.
We hope you'll be tuning in. After all, it can't hurt you to listen, can it?
All very amusing.